All right, what's going on, my friends? We got the fifth quarter. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhart with you with the Blazers tonight at Moda Center. We got a 125-122 victory over the Golden State Warriors, and really a bizarre evening.
Breaking news. Phoenix Suns nearing a deal with the Nets for Kevin Durant. I am so sorry to interrupt you, but holy smokes. Just came across the line from Adrian Wojnarowski. The Phoenix Suns are nearing a blockbuster trade to acquire the Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant. Sources tell ESPN Durant wanted move to the Suns, and new owner Matt Ishbia is pushing to get the deal done tonight. I'm so sorry to butt in, but we had to, Chad, because holy smokes.
That's a blockbuster deal.
That is a blockbuster deal. The landscape of the West just changed if this deal goes through.
Freaking Twitter. What a day for Twitter to be all jacked up today, man.
Right? Holy smokes.
Gosh, dang. That's a game changer.
A game changer. Game changer.
Game changer.
There you go. And now Shams and Haynes both on it, too. Shams says package including Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks, and additional draft compensation. Holy smokes.
Wow. All right, give those details once again. In case you're just joining the fifth quarter, we got some breaking NBA news ahead of tomorrow's noon p.m. deadline. What you got?
So what is coming across the line right now is that the Phoenix Suns are finalizing a deal with the Brooklyn Nets for Kevin Durant. According to Shams Charania, the package includes Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks, and additional draft compensation.
So Chris Paul, no Chris Paul.
Not according to what Charania's pointing out there. Woj and Haynes haven't added any details yet, just that the deal is going down. But as of now, looks like no Chris Paul. Maybe that's added. I don't know. But whoa, what a way to start the show.
Wow.
Unreal. And there goes Portland's pipe dream of getting Kevin Durant.
That's a game changer right there, Burkhart. That's a game changer. That lets everyone know that, hey, we're effing serious about winning a championship.
Yes.
Now, you hate to lose Mikal Bridges, but you're getting Kevin flippin' Durant in return. That means you're going to have, let's see. Wait a second. They're still going to have Ayton?
Still going to have Ayton, and Shams now adding Jay Crowder to the Nets as part of this deal.
Okay. Let me just think about this for a second. Booker.
Yep.
Paul.
Yep.
KD.
Yep.
Ayton.
And still got Ayton.
Okay. Holy shnikey.
That is right. Holy smokes.
So who will be the other starter on that squad?
I don't know. They're losing 2 good ones there. But look at that. Who else they got? Who's been playing for them? All I know is Kevin Durant and Kyrie both on the move. Think about this if you're the Brooklyn Nets, dude. You had Harden, you had Kyrie, you have Durant. Now you're just stuck with Ben Simmons, and you didn't get a title out of that.
Wow. See, our instincts were correct, right? Once Kyrie went, that signaled that changes were coming.
That's what we thought.
And see, the problem is because the Blazers have no picks to work with, they couldn't get in on something like that. They had Simons and Sharp, but they didn't have the pick package to put together to make a deal like that. It's not. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean that is the bad part right here. Is they are hamstrung. Think about this. I mean, and Jakob Poeltl was just traded, and it took a first-round pick to get him. So it's like picks right now are important in the deals. Every single one's having them attached, right? So this is crazy. 4 first-round picks, Durant to Phoenix. Unreal.
Dude, 2 minutes ago, Mikal Bridges tweeted out, "Oh my God, LOL."
Did he really?
Yes. Incredible. Wow. All right. Wild and crazy. See, this happens. We keep waiting, and then all of a sudden the fireworks. The fireworks. The NBA trade deadline fireworks. So far, before the deadline tomorrow, we have freaking Kyrie Irving and freaking KD.
How often at a trade deadline do you see 2 of the best players in the league shipped?
Going to the same conference.
Yeah. And then this is even more troubling for the Blazers, who continue to tell you that they're building around Dame and trying to make a playoff push because 2 teams in the West that are in your competition just got better.
Dwight was right. He's like, you better try and make a move right now. They just couldn't compete with that with the pick package.
Yeah.
All right, the Nets are trading Kevin Durant to the Suns for a package including Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks, and additional draft compensation. Now it's pretty simple for the Suns, right? All in. Championship or bust.
Oh, 100%.
Think about how good that team looks right now. Book, KD, Ayton. How good are they going to be defensively? That's not bad.
Yeah. Phoenix saw the Lakers go get D'Angelo Russell and got better and like, yeah, I see your D'Angelo Russell and I raise you a Kevin Durant. Unreal. Does this make them the best team in the Western Conference? If he comes back healthy, I mean, just the 4 that we mentioned, Booker, Paul, Durant, Ayton, that's nasty, man. Nasty.
All right, here are some of the dudes that are on the roster right now. Ayton, Biyombo, Booker, Mikal Bridges, Torrey Craig, Jay Crowder. Of course, Bridges and Crowder are out the door. Cam Johnson's out the door. Landale, Damian Lee. I'm just trying to figure out who the flip's going to start. I don't know. Maybe you put Saric out there.
Dude, you could put you or I out there right now with the other 4 and still win some games.
It doesn't matter. You're right. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Good gracious. That's good. That's a blockbuster.
Phoenix fans right now.
Yes!
Wow. That's incredible. That's a darn good basketball team. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. I mean, think about that, dude. DeAndre Ayton, 4 of their starting 5. Ayton, Durant, Booker, CP3. Now, that's pretty good. Man, the playoffs are going to be good now. Give me Suns and Warriors. I'll take Suns and Nuggets.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, man. This is just kind of want to see like Golden State get in there now and just give me like Suns, Golden State first round, KD versus the Warriors.
Not only that, but how much more effective will CP3 be now that he doesn't have to carry the load?
Oh, way better for him. Way better for him. I mean, they rely on Booker to do it too, but Booker doesn't need to be your guy trying to carry the load from the running the offense perspective, right? Just let him shoot and go score. But KD plays point guard most of the time, right? So this is just unreal. Balances that roster out, takes like you said, a load off CP and just lets him. He doesn't have to score every night right now. He can just do what he does best, which is just distribute the ball.
And defensively, with the length of Ayton and KD, who's a terrific defender.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, now I'm jealous. Jealousy setting in already. You look around at these other teams making moves, and it's like, oh, yeah, we unloaded Josh Hart for Cam Reddish.
Imagine if you get like give me Dallas Phoenix in the playoffs right now. Kyrie versus KD to advance. The NBA is the best. The absolute best.
It is. Trade deadline's awesome. 503-248-0620. It's the fifth quarter. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhart. We're trying to absorb the news that just went down in the NBA with a blockbuster. Kevin Durant is headed to Phoenix, according to Shams and Woj. NBA trade deadline is coming up tomorrow at noon. The big news here in Portland today, Burkhart, Josh Hart. We've been telling you now for weeks. The first player to go would be Hart. The most likely player to be moved before the deadline was Hart. They had to move him. He wasn't going to re-sign. He was going to opt out at the end of the year. So you had to move him now and get something in return. And really what they've done is you move Hart to New York. Cam Reddish comes in, a backup forward, and they get a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick. What that means is the Knicks are going to make the playoffs, and the Blazers are going to have a first-round pick to work with. Dwight's going to join us a little bit later in fifth quarter to share his thoughts on the move. But, Burkhart, how do you see this deal for the Blazers? It would seem to me the prize piece of this deal, moving Hart out to the Knicks, would be to get that draft pick in return, right? The pick is more valuable than Cam Reddish.
Yeah, to me, that's the value here because you can maybe use that in the next, we got roughly, 14 hours to maybe package something else together. You could attach that to a Yusuf Nurkic, right, to maybe get him out.
To get someone to take on the rest of his contract.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like I told you too, Chad, this could actually, if they don't make a move tomorrow, this gives them a second pick to be able to trade on draft night because, again, the Stepien rule only is for future picks. So you can't trade future picks in back-to-back years. But once you're on draft night, that's not a future pick anymore. That is a current year. Blazers own that pick. They could trade those two picks on draft night.
All right, so you have options. I can tell you what I want to have happen. I hope they can attach it to Nurk and he gets moved out before the deadline tomorrow. I'm ready for him to be gone. I don't want his negativity hanging around the locker room. When he comes back after the All-Star break, I would like to see him pushed out now, and then they can address the forward or center position moving forward and how they want to address that.
Yeah, I don't even know what to think because just this KD thing has me going, okay, what can the Blazers possibly do now? Because like you just said, the Lakers got D-Russ, the Mavericks got Kyrie, the Suns got KD, and the Blazers so far have Cam Reddish.
I think the three best contenders in the Western Conference are now Denver, Phoenix, Golden State. Those are your three teams. One of those three will likely reach the finals.
If Steph comes back.
If Steph comes back, obviously. If Steph comes back. Goodness. The world's going on here. That is big-time news. Big time. I mean, Kyrie was big, but this is taking it to another level. According to Shams, the Nets are trading Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns for a package including Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks, and additional draft compensation. Now, I would have assumed that a deal that involved Kevin Durant, you probably would have seen Chris Paul out the door or possibly Ayton. And the fact they're able to get him for picks and Mikal Bridges is pretty impressive because that keeps them stockpiled to be able to make a run. Yeah, they're serious. They are serious. 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. Let's go out to the phones. I want to hear your voice. Blazers get the win tonight, 125-122 over the Warriors. Let's go to Ken in Vancouver. Ken, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're first up.
Hey, Chad. Great victory tonight. But first, I want to say thank you to Josh Hart for being the guy who gave it every night, who played hurt, who was just a great part of the team. And I know this is the business and the way it goes, and the Blazers had to get something for him. But I will miss him. And maybe someday, maybe in a few years, he can come back. I just love the guy. What a cool dude. I've been wanting him on our team for years, and now he's gone. It just sucks, but that is what it is. For Cam Reddish, all your excuses are over. It's time to buck up. It's time to come here and show us that high touting was something that was really a real deal because you're running out of chances. And You're getting out of there, out of the prison of Thibodeau, and come here with a good attitude and bust some rear end, and let's see what you really got, kid. On the victory tonight, I'm so proud of the guys. Dame with I felt, what a machine, just working so hard, doing all the little stuff, even though the shot wasn't going, a little flat tonight. But the youngsters, Shaden Sharp, Nas, Trendon again, bringing some big time minutes tonight. And, it was a good victory. It was a good victory tonight, but we have got to make the playoffs so we can get rid of this Chicago debt we have, and then we can make moves this summer. And that's what it's all about. But, hey, as far as Phoenix goes, hey, congratulations. Great move. Maybe you stay healthy, maybe you don't. But you're going for it. Hey, good for you. It is what it is. Personally, they can suck it. Thanks, Chad.
Hey, Ken. It's not, it is what it is. They got freaking Kevin Durant, one of the best players on the globe. It is an absolute game changer and turns them into an instant title contender. And the Blazers are sitting here with basically no assets, no flexibility, and no movement in the Western Conference. That's really where they're at. It sucks, but when you want to drop the line, it is what it is. That would apply to the Portland Trailblazers. And you look at the moves recently, Olshey with that ridiculous maneuver to move out Larry Nash Jr. for a first-round pick. That's why they're in the mess they're in right now. What was it, 2 firsts to get Covington? That's brutal. Zach Collins not working out was bad. And there's just been some issues. Also, Danny Ainge, who is just on fire right now. Just a reminder to everyone, the great Burt Cold, the vice chair for the Trailblazers, made no calls, did not contact anyone, confirmed, when it came to looking for potential replacements for Olshey. He had his guy pegged in Joe Cronin, and I just think it's malpractice not to reach out and look to find experience at a time when your franchise was in great need when you see what Danny Ainge is doing right now in Utah. Let's go back out to the phones. Will, appreciate the phone call. You're up on the 5th quarter.
Hi. Dude, don't you think that Adam Silver should veto this?
Hey, Will, turn your radio down. And why would I think that Adam Silver should veto this? Why?
He vetoed CP3 to the Lakers.
That wasn't Adam Silver. That was David Stern.
David Stern. That's what I meant. My apologies. I feel like there's a good balance in the Western Conference right now, and with Kevin Durant going to the Phoenix Suns, that kind of debalances that.
Well, the Nets needed to make a move. They found the best deal, apparently, that they thought they could get in exchange for Kevin Durant, who wanted out. They were able to get multiple first-round picks and a great young wing in Mikal Bridges, and they liked the deal. So I really don't have an issue with it myself. Teams need to make moves. Teams that want to make moves, they got to get things done, and you go out there and find the best deal possible, and this apparently was the one for Brooklyn.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, so do you want the trade vetoed?
I feel like they should veto it, only because I feel like that many first-round picks isn't enough. I feel like they should have come to a deal with CP3 or Ayton involved.
Oh, so you're just mad because the Suns are going to be really good right now?
Not just that. I don't. Not just because I don't like the Suns. Mostly because I feel like that really tilts the balance of not just the West being a lot stronger than the East, but also the Suns now have like Ayton, CP3, Booker, and KD. That's a lot of star power.
Yeah, it's a lot of star power, but I would disagree with your assessment that the West is better than the Eastern Conference. I think the best teams are in the East. I think what we're seeing in the Western Conference so far this year is a lot of parity. I think Denver's been really good. I think Memphis is okay, but everyone else in the Western Conference has been mediocre at best. You got Denver at 38-17, Memphis at 33-21, Sacramento's in third at 31-23, and then after that, from fourth all the way down to about 13th, you've got teams either 4 games over 500, right at 500, or a couple of games below 500. In the Eastern Conference, you've got a few teams right up there at the top that are clearly head and shoulders above the rest in Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's about right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that this deal was made, and while I definitely think it makes Phoenix one of the favorites, I don't think it's a done deal they're going to win the championship. They got a lot of competition at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to a Dallas-Phoenix Western Conference Finals.
Oh, that would be delicious. Who's your team, Will?
Portland.
Oh, you're a Trailblazer fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with the trade myself, and I'm not a big fan, honestly, of the NBA stepping in and vetoing trades. I don't like it. I didn't like it when they did it with CP3 when he was on his way to the Lakers, and then they stepped in and ushered him to the Clippers, all because you had a few owners who were butthurt that the Lakers were going to land CP3. I'm not a fan of the commissioner stepping in to alter business like that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either, but I feel like if they're going to do it once, that they should either say that they're not going to do it again, or they have to keep it consistent.
Yeah, they're not going to step in. I can tell you that much, Will. I appreciate the phone call. Let's go out to Tim in Milwaukee. Tim, appreciate the call, my friend. The stage is yours.
Chad, what a strange and awkward time to be a sports fan in Portland. I was watching the game tonight, and I happened to catch the GM and Jody Allen down sitting courtside. And before I go any further, my goodness, what a effervescent, svelte, picturesque young woman that is. Take that, Jeannie Buss.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing tonight. Not exactly Jeannie Buss giving Dwayne Wade a shoulder massage last night at the Laker game.
No, it was kind of more of like a J.R.R. Tolkien sort of Ren Fair kind of vibe is what I was feeling. But so, and then we got Shaden Sharp pulling out of the dunk contest, which I can kind of understand from what I've read around the internet, getting snubbed from the Rising Stars game and everything. And then, of course, it looks like he's definitely going to be taking on a bigger role. Hopefully he'll stay consistent in terms of his efforts tonight moving forward. But I guess the reason I'm calling in, Chad, is, again, as you know, I'm just kind of a passive fan. I'm just wondering what leverage, if any, we have in standing pat and making a play at the end of the season. Is there any advantages for us there?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'll address that right now. And Burkhart, you can jump in anytime you want. Let's say the Blazers wait until the end of the year before they make any big moves, right? At that time, they may naturally wind up in the lottery and would secure their first-round pick for this year's draft. You have the pick that you would get back from the New York Knicks in the deal you made today for Josh Hart. You would also enter the summertime with the Nurk contract, and you would have 2 young pieces in Ant and Shaden Sharp you could make available in a potential big move. So, and in terms of availability, more players, more big names, more guys that you might be looking at may become available at a better price during the summertime. So I don't think there's any disadvantage to waiting until the summertime to make a move. You don't have to rush to get something done tomorrow, in my opinion, because you're not going to go anywhere this year anyways. So you could always wait, kind of stockpile the resources that you do have and look to make something happen in the summer. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I would agree with that because, like I said, you can get to the draft and have the multiple picks to work with. I also think with the way this thing's playing out, Chad, with 3 teams that they have been competing with in the standings getting better in the last few days, that now this idea of making it into the playoffs is not – it's not a formality, right? Like, it's not locked in stone. It's going to be tough. And so if Portland – say Portland is just – so eager to make a move at the deadline that they ship out Ant tomorrow and they get very, very limited return on that because they have no assets to attach to it, right? Well, if you wait this out and you happen to not make the playoffs, well, guess what? That pick conveys. And now all those picks that you can't trade right now for the next 7 years are free. And you can do what Phoenix just did and trade 3-4 first-round picks. You can do what you need to do to go make that big splash move. So I think it is important. I think that the offseason has kind of always been their goal. I think if you're going to move a Sharp and an Ant, it happens in the offseason, not tomorrow. I think if you make a move tomorrow, it's just nerk to do it and maybe get some limited assets back in return.
Can you imagine what it would be like tomorrow morning to wake up being a Suns fan?
Like I yes, because like I know what it feels like right now, not being a Suns fan, and my heart is like racing. And like I text my cousin who lives down there, and she's probably sleeping, but she usually likes to talk smack every time her Phoenix teams beat up on my Oregon teams. But once she gets the news, she's probably gonna flip out too. So yeah, it's gonna be a nice day down there in the valley when the sun rises tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, yikers!
You get good weather and KD. It's not even fair.
Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a 2028 pick swap in a deal with the Suns for KD and TJ Warren.
Yeah. Now, they're not going to be all great picks, by the way, just because the Suns might be pretty good. But they're all unprotected picks. So unprotected picks in 23, 25, 27, and 29.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. Trade deadline is taking over the show. Dame had a triple-double tonight, second of his career, and the Blazers getting the job done, 125-122 over the Warriors in a weird night where the players said goodbye and gave a few hugs to Josh Hart when he got the news before the game he was on his way to New York. And then they went out on the floor and took care of the Warriors. Portland will be back at it on Friday night with OKC in town. And the trade deadline's coming up tomorrow at noon. You got the fifth quarter.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
Dave leaps and gives it to Simons. Open corner three is off the mark. Eubanks there for the putback hammer jam. Timeout Warriors.
All right, 503-248-0620, fifth quarter. Chad Doing along with Chris Burkhart. The big news in the NBA right now, a monster deal that has gone down between the Suns and Nets. The Suns are sending Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap for Durant and T.J. Warren. The Nets will get unprotected picks in 23, 25, 27, and 29. And now the Suns will field a starting lineup that includes DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul. And another big news tonight, the Trailblazers dealt Josh Hart to the New York Knicks in exchange for forward Cam Reddish and a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick. That pick, if the Knicks make the playoffs, Portland would get the first-round pick. That's a pick they can move before the deadline tomorrow. If it goes into the lottery, it will convert into 4 future second-round picks. So the Blazers are able to stockpile some assets in that maneuver with Josh Hart, which we told you was going to happen because they had to move him before the end of the season. He's got a player option at the end of the year. He'll opt out and look for a new deal. On the text line, hey, Chad, at least they had to give up Bridges. I was worried the Suns would only have to give up about as much as the Mavs gave up for Kyrie when I first heard the trade was going down. Yeah, I thought that they'd have to give up more. I at least thought Chris Paul would be involved, but, for them to make that move and only give up, one legit starter in Mikal Bridges is amazing because they keep their crew. Now, this is clearly an all-in move. You make this move, it's all about winning a championship. Anything shy of that, Burkhart, is a major disappointment. Major.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. You just got Kevin flipping Durant. Like, that's the home run swing that we always talk about, right?
Yeah, that's the home run. That when you push the chips into the middle of the table and say, we're going to go for it.
You know what's going to be interesting now is Phoenix content with Ben Simmons, or do they just full on say, okay, what assets can we get for you? Because we got some nice young pieces now. Obviously, not super young, but Finney Smith, Dinwiddie's great, Bridges, Johnson. You got pieces there. Maybe build around Simmons, or do you try to get some more assets? Because you just got a boatload of assets.
Yeah, they'll move on from him. I mean, there's no point in keeping him at this point. You can move on from him, get more assets in return, and just continue the full rebuild, right? Why would you keep him?
Yeah. That would be the move Portland makes, and then a Blazer fan will be like, oh, no.
Yeah, Simmons has got issues. Incredible defender.
Incredible.
One of the best defenders in the game, but the problem is he does come with baggage. Not to mention he's afraid to shoot the basketball. That's problematic.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I love some of these people. They're like, yeah, but they gave up Bridges. It's like, Mikal Bridges is great, but they got Kevin Durant.
Like, would anyone say that? Like, do they really think this? It's like the same. We talk about this all the time. Like, would you have been mad if you gave up Shaedon Sharpe and got Kevin Durant? Oh, but they gave up Shaedon Sharpe. It's Kevin flipping Durant. One of the best players to ever pick up a basketball in the history of this game.
Let's go out to the phones. Richard in Northeast. Richard, welcome to the fifth quarter. Long time no chat.
Hey, bro. Miguel here at my work. He told me the Blazers got Kevin Durant, man. Yeah, it's so cool. I just want to let you know I'm really excited. Maybe I'll go to a game again this year. Kevin Durant, man. Hey, I gotta go. Later and greater.
There you go. There's Richard. I'm sorry to tell you, but Miguel gave you bad information, Richard. Kevin Durant's not going to the Trailblazers. He's going to the Phoenix Suns. You shouldn't jack with your coworkers like that. Oh, my goodness. 503-248-0620. Let's go ahead and step into the coach's corner. Blazers take out the Golden State Warriors tonight, 125-122. Let's go ahead and step into the coach's corner.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
All right, write this date down. March 5th in Dallas, Suns, Mavericks, Durant against Kyrie.
Must-see TV.
Must-see TV, the drama Chris was talking about. All right, let's take a listen to Coach Billups on the Blazers' win and having to move on from Josh Hart right before the game.
Effort tonight, second triple-double of his career.
Yeah, 10 rebounds for Dame. Obviously, the 33 and the 12, we're accustomed to seeing that. But no Josh Hart out there tonight. Obviously, your rebound, you got to collectively gang rebound, and I thought Dame did an incredible job of that. But I just, I thought all of us, for the most part, all game, just really paid attention to detail. I thought our defense in the fourth quarter was incredible because our switching defense was hurting us, but we didn't make very many mistakes at all in that fourth quarter. So between that, us winning that rebound and battle the way that we did, and then us being locked in the fourth quarter, those to me are the shining moments.
Is that pretty much how you guys are able to overcome the 20 turnovers and shooting 27% of threes? Because I know that you guys have won many games.
We've been so good at not turning the ball over lately, but there was a point in the game, I think it maybe in the middle of that second quarter, where they really turned up the screws on us, and we didn't react very well. And then we were able to just kind of calm down. And the way that they play is very enticing to try to play that way, but you can't beat them the way that they play. That's why they do it. So we got caught up a few times and then turned the ball over, and then obviously at the end had a couple, turnovers, at the end of the game. But for the most part, we controlled the tempo. We got on the free throw line, slowed the game down, which prevented them from being able to do what they do. And I thought that helped us out big time.
Chauncey, on the defensive side of the ball, second half and fourth quarter there, you guys are really active on switching ball screens. Against a team like that with lineup change, is that more stylistically how you want to get to defensively, being more aggressive? I know you said you want to be multiple, but the ability to do that across five hasn't been something you've been able to do most of the season.
Yeah, it's something that when you have Trendon at the 5, you're almost playing small ball. And so our switching defense is something that we like to go to when we get in those positions when we're kind of small, to try to stop some of the execution. I thought the biggest thing, the adjustment that we had to make, was switching pin downs with Clay. He really hurt us in the first half. So we adjusted to switching the pin downs, and that's not something that we usually do. So I'm happy that the guys were able to kind of pick it up quick. So when we started switching that, we started having a little more success defensively. But yeah, that's this team will make you do things that you're not used to doing, and I thought we handled that very nicely.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the impact that Jabari was able to make? Only 7 minutes, but get just key critical points.
I told him in front of the team after the game, I was proud of Jabari, for just staying ready. That's not easy to do. We went with Jabari. We needed some size. We needed some rebounding. I thought this 3 that he made was huge, and I just love, even if he missed it, I was just so happy they didn't hesitate. He didn't question anything. He was open. He's been working on that, and he stepped up and made it. So I was proud of Jabari for just coming in and just being ready and scrapping and fighting like he usually does.
All right. Last question. Coach, you mentioned how the Warriors play. I'm kind of curious, do you see similarities between how you run your offense and how they run their offense? And does that even maybe help you win through how you defend them?
We have some similar things that we run that's like theirs, but even though we have like great shooting with Dame and Ant, our guys are a little different, than Jordan and Clay and even Steph. Even there's some similarities, but they've just been together for so long, that the right hand always knows what the left hand is doing, and we're not quite there, yet. But I love a lot of the things that they run. I've stole a lot of things from Steve and a million other coaches in the league if it fits our personnel. But I don't think you can ever be prepared to guard them. They have you spinning like a top out there. And when we play against them and when it happens, I don't really overcook it after games because they make every team in the league look like that. So it's not just us, So I don't overdo it after we play them. It's just that's what they do. They're great at it.
All right, there's Coach Bills following the Blazers' victory over the Warriors tonight. We'll come back on fifth quarter, and when we do, the Godfather, Dwight James, will join us, and we'll get his take on the trade that went down today. Josh Hart going to the Knicks, and in return for Cam Reddish and a 2023 lottery-protected pick. Blazers get the win. They're going to be back home Friday night. Oklahoma City's in town. Trade deadline's coming up tomorrow at noon. You've got the fifth quarter with Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, fifth quarter, I had to ask him to come on because of the deal that went down. Trade deadline's coming up tomorrow at noon, but the Blazers with some action tonight. As you know, they did a deal with the New York Knicks. Josh Hart goes to New York for Cam Reddish. The Knicks are also sending the Blazers a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick that turns into 4 future second-round picks if it's not conveyed this year, which more than likely it will be. And joining us right now to discuss it is the Godfather, Dwight Jaynes. Dwight, what's your take on the deal that went down tonight?
Chad, I think it's an interesting deal because I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out. Cam Reddish is a player who I think will get backup minutes with the Blazers. He's a 6'8" small forward. They can use his length. He's not ever been much of a shooter. I think it opens the door to playing one of the younger players at the 3. But the most intriguing aspect is that protected first-round pick and what they might be able to do with it either later tonight or tomorrow morning before the deadline. Often you can use that pick to attach it to a player you want to deal and maybe sweeten the pot a little bit in the trade.
All right, so if they're to use that pick, a lot of people are suggesting one possibility would be to attach it to Nurk and move him before the deadline tomorrow. Would you say that's a pretty good possibility?
Yeah, it could be, Chad. I just think if they do that, they're going to leave themselves pretty small unless they get a big in return. And if they do that, that's fine. But I think it would more indicate then that it's going to be a very difficult run to get into the playoffs without a big. Because, he, as much as people complain about Nurk, you still have that 7-footer in the middle, and you've seen what happens against the taller teams when he isn't playing.
Yeah, that's true. There's no doubt about it. Dwight is joining us here on fifth quarter as the Blazers and Knicks able to pull off a deal. Josh Hart, the first guy out, no surprise here, in return for Cam Reddish and a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick that would turn into 4 future second-round picks if it's not conveyed. I guess the other thing they could do is if you're looking at summertime as possibly an opportunity to go out there and make something happen, you would have that extra pick in your pocket to be able to sweeten a deal at that time.
Yeah, if you haven't already used it. Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, I'm talking about moving it before the NBA draft. If you're not going to draft a player, I mean, you can move the pick or take a player, and that you're that
that somebody
team wants
might
you to
want
take.
later.
Yeah.
That's possible, Chad. I think that is possible. It's a lottery protected pick in a year where everybody wants to be in the lottery, but they're still, because the lottery is so rich, there'll still be good players remaining after the lottery. So I think the pick will have value. And you can always tell your fans you got a first round pick. And I used to hear that from general managers years ago. Even if it was a 28 pick, it was like, hey, we got a first round pick. Yeah, well, it's not very good, but you got one. And that's often used that way. So we'll see. It's going to make for a real interesting morning tomorrow as the deadline approaches. And I think it's going to be a good show tomorrow for you and me to be able to sit back and evaluate, talk about what they ended up doing.
All right. Tonight, Gary Payton II got the start. Hart was moved out right before the game. We had talked about the possibility, with Shaedon Sharpe pulling out of the dunk contest, that maybe he was given notice ahead of time that, hey, you're going to be starting down the stretch, so you've got to get yourself ready and focused and make sure that you're rested and ready to roll for the second half after the All-Star break. Well, Gary Payton II got the start tonight. Why do you think that is?
Chad, I think if any of the younger players are going to get that spot, you wouldn't want them to have to take it tonight with 5 minutes notice before the tip and then get themselves ready and start against a team that's really difficult to defend. The Warriors are tough to handle. And so I think Gary, being familiar with the Warriors and being a defender pretty much by trade, I think that's the reason he got the start. And they want to give him a few more minutes probably anyway. So I didn't see that as any kind of surprise. And my assumption, Chad, and again, I don't have inside knowledge, my assumption would be that spot that Hart was in has to go to a younger player. Yeah, it makes all the sense.
Yeah, to get Sharpe the time and let him get on the floor, get a chance to develop. You get a chance to see what you have and also showcase him in case something comes up during the summertime, an opportunity maybe where you can go out there and make a move. All right, so overall, we knew Hart was going to be moved. I don't know exactly what you expected in return, but you get, backup depth on the bench and a pick from the Knicks. Do you like the deal overall for the Blazers?
Yeah, Chad, I do. It just depends on what they're trying to do, and we don't know. I mean, if you're trying to make the playoffs, if that's a sincere run to the playoffs, I'd rather see them get a player who could be a starting type player, because Josh Hart was a starter, and you'd like to trade a starter for a starter. But, and the pick obviously isn't going to help them make the playoffs this year either. So, but on the other hand, if they're not so sincere about making the playoffs, it's probably a good deal because they got a draft pick, and they probably won't make the playoffs.
Well, what do your instincts tell you, that this is a precursor to another move?
Yeah, I think they will do something on Thursday morning. I do. I think there's something else there, and we'll have to wait and see what it is. And again, this organization's so buttoned down, it's hard to get anything in advance. But I do believe there's something out there. I think Nasir Little might be in play. I certainly think Nurkic might be in play. You just don't know what they would have to give up. And really, again, it comes down to how serious are they about making that playoff run this year.
All right, the Godfather Dwight James here on Fifth Quarter. Thank you for your bonus time tonight, Godfather. I'll talk to you tomorrow on the Rip City Drive at 3.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure, Chad.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night here on the Fifth Quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Here comes the Warriors back the other way, a 5-on-4. Bounce pass to a cutter is tipped and stolen. Here's Payton, looks for Dame. He was waiting, the lob for Sharp, and he hammers it home.
All right, Fifth Quarter, Blazers over the Warriors, 125-122. Big thanks to the Godfather for jumping on board. The big news tonight, of course, came from Brooklyn and Phoenix. It's incredible. Kevin Durant is now on his way to Phoenix. The Suns are sending Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap for Durant and T.J. Warren. And now the Suns probably the odds-on favorite to come out of the Western Conference. Wild, Burkhart.
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what Denver and Memphis do in the next here about 13 hours.
Can you afford to stand pat?
Yeah, can you afford to stand pat, or do you have to go try to buy someone to try to improve your roster to compete?
All right, we'll come back on Fifth Quarter, and we'll get your phone calls in, 503-248-0620. Blazers get the win over the Warriors, 125-122. Dame with his second career triple-double tonight, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. Portland will host Oklahoma City Friday night at Moda Center, tip-off at 7. Game day at 4:30 on Friday. Trade deadline tomorrow at noon.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab. Always sounds good for dinner.
Clears Watford on the drive. The lob to Sharp. One-hand hammer.
Shaden Sharp hung in the air. Elevator doors open, closed. He went to the next floor.
He hung in the air for what felt like an hour.
Man, you got to love the drama, Burkhart. You've got people right now saying KD chasing a championship ring again, I see. You've got people bringing up the fact the Nuggets could have the number one seed in the West, the best record in the NBA, draw Golden State in round 1, and the Suns in round 2. You've got people cracking on Kyrie. You've got people saying that Ja Morant, this is all his fault because he said he was good in the West. That's what C.J. McCollum said. And then you've got people thinking that Dame's probably sitting back bitter right now when he looks around at what the West is doing, knowing his team has no way to make any legitimate moves to be a contender. Hey-oh!
Ouch. Ow, pain.
That
it hurts.
That
it
probably
hurts
does
so
suck.
bad.
It hurts so bad. But it probably does suck, man, when you sit back, you're like, we can't compete with that. We can't. We got nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know what you do. And hate on Durant all you want. Chasing a ring, winning a ring is kind of the point, right?
Another person just brought up a great point. The Nets are 10 games over 500 and just traded away 2 Hall of Fame players in a matter of like 3 days. That's crazy. All of this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what to...
I just know the Suns are now must-see television. Must-see television.
Yeah.
March 5th, Suns in Dallas taking on the Mavs, KD against Kyrie.
And I don't know what this means for the Blazers, but now Woj. Toronto's talks on forward OG Anunoby are rolling into the final hours of the trade deadline. The landing of Kevin Durant with the Suns could escalate Anunoby's value among Western Conference teams pursuing an elite forward to defend Durant.
All right, there's Denver. Time for Denver to jump in. It might as well all the good teams jump in and grab another good player just to piss us off here in Portland.
Yeah, right.
Why not?
That would be it. Bones Highland and a couple other pieces. Denver gets OG.
And the Blazers get Cam Reddish.
Yeah. Cam Reddish and Nurk is going to get traded for like a plethora of second-round picks and cash considerations into some team that has cap space. Brutal. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight, man. We got 13 hours to the deadline. I'm going to wake up every single hour checking my phone. No joke.
So the Blazers going to have to give up like Ant and Sharp now for OG?
And if that's where the escalation price goes, maybe. And if I'm the Blazers, no. That's where you hold off until the offseason and hopefully have assets. That would be a dumb move. Ant for OG straight up, I would do. Ant and Sharp for OG, yeah, I'm walking away.
I mean, is it crazy to suggest now? It's like you look at the Western Conference, it's like, okay, we're not going anywhere. Let's just go into the lottery.
Yeah.
Let's go sprinkle some fairy dust on our team, and hopefully we can land Victor Wembanyama.
Well, here's the deal. Maybe Woj is hinting at the teams in conversation, obviously, because he said teams looking for an elite wing to guard Kevin Durant. Well, here's the deal. If you're Portland, you ain't playing Phoenix. He ain't playing them in the playoffs right now. You might not even make the playoffs. So what's the point of having OG Anunoby?
Let's go out to the phones. Let's go out to East Amity. My man Ralph is out there. What's up, Ralphie?
Hey, Chan, I've been hearing from a guy I work with that the Blazers traded Hart and they got canned radish. Is that right?
Something very similar to that. Probably about as worth as much as canned radish. Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what do you do with canned radish anyway.
I don't know. Do they have canned radishes?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah,
I get them fresh in the produce market.
Well, of course, you're a landscaper. I would expect every thing you buy in the produce area would be fresh.
Yeah, that's so. Anyway, I wanted to call Chan. I hadn't talked to you in a while, and I was thinking the other day of you, and I wanted to ask you. I know you golf a lot, and you probably know that I have some friends that are either own golf courses or greenskeepers or master greenskeeper or whatever out there, and a couple of them have seen you golf, and one I said, hey, how did he look? And they just kind of chuckled, and I don't know what that means, but have you ever tried these PXG golf clubs?
I have never tried the PXG. No. What's your take on them?
Well, don't ask me. I don't golf, so I've just seen them advertised, and the guy who advertised them is, he's apparently, it sounds like he was at the Radio Row down there at the Super Bowl, and he's going to maybe try to hire some people to endorse them a little bit. And so I thought maybe you could be part of that, and maybe try to, I don't know if he knows who you are, but you could get in touch with him or something.
Yeah, I would love that. And pretty much anything golf I'm good for. Right now using Mizuno irons and Titleist woods, and I love them.
Did you say Mizuno?
Yes, Mizuno.
Oh, I got some kitchen knives made by them. I didn't know. I didn't know they made golf clubs too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. And before I forget, Chan, listen, you need to write this down. I don't know if your listeners will appreciate it. Some of them will, but you like the guitar and the smooth jazz kind of stuff.
I do.
And I want you to go on the YouTubes when you get a chance, and I'm going to give you a name of a guy that I stumbled upon here.
Mm-hmm.
And you write this down now, because I have no idea even how to say it, but he's Japanese.
Okay.
And he does kitchen knives and golf clubs. Just kidding. And his name is spelled Vinai space T. Vinai space T. And what he does is he plays instrumental songs with like a backing track, like Adele, that Easy on Me, or Eagles, or some of his things have a million views, and multiple of his versions have a million views. It's a guy playing a guitar with a backing track.
No, I know who it is. In fact, this is my favorite video of his. I listen to it frequently, but he's really good. Take a listen to this, Ralphie. I think this is exactly what you're talking about. This is I Can't Tell You Why by the Eagles.
Yeah.
But he's got the groove down. You got to admit, Ralphie, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Now, just so you people in Radio Land here understand what this guy does well, I'm a guitar player and have been paid lots of money to play. And I'll tell you what this guy does really well is what's called phrasing. He's not just hitting the notes; he's phrasing it. He's singing. His guitar is singing, and that's what phrasing is all about. So that guy's just a master at that, and it's very, very good.
Yeah, he makes it look pretty easy, man. But yeah, I love this guy. He's amazing, and he's covered a lot of the songs that I enjoy. So I check him out all the time. I'm glad that you discovered him as well, Ralphie.
Well, there you go. I mean, I thought I'd help you out with, something maybe when you're thinking about what exactly is a canned radish. You could listen to some of this and kind of put it all in perspective in your own mind.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are going to try to figure out what a canned radish is over the next few days here in Portland. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I also wanted to check on one thing here. How old is Dwight?
That's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. Burkhart, you don't either, do you? None of us seem to really know what his exact age is.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, there you go. That's it, because, when he first came on the air there with you, Chan, I think he had just, finished some activity and then dozed off with a nap. And did you hear what he sounded like?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he might have been partially asleep. I really never know with the Godfather, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think there was activity in the Godfather's domicile, and then he just conked out. And then, oops, wait a minute, I got to go on the radio with Chan here, and so he jumped in there. That's what I think happened.
It's quite possible. You might be onto something there, Ralphie. You might be onto something there.
Yeah, and let me I hate to talk basketball to you here, but
okay.
The Blazers, I agree with you. They need to just kind of say, hey, enough's enough, and we need to just go ahead and roll out and just finish the year, try to get a high draft pick. Because what just happened, Chan, with this big blockbuster trade is what let me explain it from a business standpoint. When I have somebody who's actually my competition, which doesn't happen, but when I had a couple times in the past, what you do is you do something that kind of ups the ante a little bit, but it's going to cost them some money. And then when they make their move, you do that again. And pretty soon you're going to just suck them dry, and they're going to just give up. Now, that's not what happened here. What happened here is this Phoenix team just said, we're going straight to the top, and we're going to make the big move, and you can do whatever you want. We don't care. And at that point, a smart businessman would say, I'm not going to make two little moves that will theoretically cost me something and end up, pretty much in the same place that I'm at now. That's not a good idea. So they need to cash it in and pretty much just say, hey, enough is enough for the night, and kind of go from there. Some of these guys here in the chat, Chan, are, I appreciate what Rick Virgin has to say. The Godfather certainly couldn't be him after what we expected happened tonight. So that's not him. But anyway, you say hi to these people, Chan, and I'm going to watch on the YouTubes now, and I see your Gilroy Napoli short sponsorship cup there. Yeah, that's a good.
That's right.
That's a good deal there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I hear your ads for them all the time, and they sound like a good outfit, and I'm glad you got hooked up with them. And I still want you to get hooked up with that PXG Golf Clubs, Chan. Look up the guy who owns that thing, and I think you and him could make sweet advertising love together. So you think about that now, and you take care of Burkhart, because I'm starting to like him now. I was going to say his hair is growing on me, but God forbid that would happen. I'd itch all night if that happened. So,
all right, you got it, Ralphie. I appreciate that. Yeah, and big props to Burkhart for referencing such a great and lovely line. I remember these commercials from when I was a kiddo.
Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me, I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
There you go. You got to love that, Burkhart. Money.
I just always remember that. A 1, a 2, a 3.
A 3. Let's go out to Ron in Salt Lake. Ron, what's up, buddy?
Chad, I might stay up all night and eat like a freaking 10-pound bag of Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm just calling for therapy, because it's like 12:30 in the morning in Utah. My wife's freaking in bed. She doesn't care about this stuff. And I love Ralph. He's awesome. But, Ralph, this isn't landscaping. It's the NBA. And Oregon is beautiful and amazing for landscaping, but it's not the freaking desert. And here's the problem. This is my entitled, spoiled brat, pompous prima donna first-team All-NBA team. It's Kyrie Irving, James freaking Harden, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant is winding his way into another championship opportunity.
I'm sorry, man. Phone connection went off there. Let's go out to Victor in Turkey. Gosh dang it. Improve your cell towers in Utah, Ron. Victor in Turkey, what's up, my friend?
Hi, brother. Do you have my connection or you're like Utah? Is it
Yeah. No, you're
good
not in
connection?
Utah. No, you're not in Utah, and you're not with Ron, so you're good.
All right, all right. Well, I tell you good news. I'm a positive because I'm so much frantic about the Blazer. I always think about one thing at a time. In other words, I'm not worried about Kevin Durant, all those guys. I know Kevin Durant is an unbelievable player, but I'm not worried about him, stuff like that, because I am a Blazer fan, and this game tonight when they beat the Warriors with even they couldn't hit the three-pointer shooters. They didn't have three-pointer shooters, and they beat them with just in the paint and biggest struggle. And also, I want to shout out to the Blazer bench. Like Jabari Walker, he's 6'7", and he's only 6'7", but medium size or not too tall. But he came with 7 minutes and 10 points. To me, that was very exciting. And also, don't forget this Warriors. 3 days ago, they beat the good Thunder, Oklahoma Thunder, with the Shai Alexander by 30 points. 144 points they dropped to Thunder. Who the Thunder went to Los Angeles and beat the big, LeBron James. They beat him in Los Angeles. So what I'm saying is all of these are related. There are not any disconnection with all these games. They're all connected to each other. The way the Blazers played tonight was unbelievable to me. Because I thought with not the three-pointer shooters that they didn't go, I couldn't believe they could beat this Warriors, But what I'm saying is, I know that they couldn't get better deal for this Cam Shaden or whatever it is, Radish. But this at least maybe he's 6'9", he's 2 inch taller than Jabari Walker, but that's the only good point that you might say, well, he's a little bit bigger guy, but we don't know how good he is. But, as you said, no superstar wants to come to Blazer. But that's not the end of the world. I mean, what we can do, if nobody, no famous player wants to come to Blazer, that doesn't mean that we're going to lose the fans, So I'm really positive about this, that if they can do something different tomorrow, maybe get a better deal, and they get maybe bigger players or something like that, something might happen. And also, I want to ask you, before you talk about the moving the Keon Johnson with 2 picks, there wasn't no discussion of Keon Johnson. I'm willing to move him, as you said. Is it any possibility to move him instead of Nurkic, and moving the Keon Johnson instead of Nurkic?
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I would say that I think Keon Johnson is a possibility. I think he's one of those guys on the bench where the Blazers need to use him to get a deal done. They would do that. I think the best piece or pieces would probably be involving Nurk, but you could see Nurk and maybe that pick they just acquired move out so they can unload Nurk and get someone to take on that contract, because he's got the rest of this year and 3 more years left on that deal. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but more things are going to go down over the next 12 hours. Now, I love this. I just saw this tweet, Burkhart. Just a further example of how football is king. The Lakers-Thunder game, and this comes from Zach By in Denver. The Lakers-Thunder game that saw LeBron pass Kareem as the NBA's all-time leading scorer averaged 3 million viewers, TNT's most viewed NBA regular season game since 2018. The Pro Bowl this past weekend, which is now a flag football game, averaged over 6 million viewers. So a flag football game involving NFL players averaged double that of LeBron's game where he passed Kareem.
Oh, that game would have beat the Pro Bowl if it was MJ, though.
That's true. That's true.
I told you this, though, man. The NFL, football as a sport, is king. I can't remember the exact number. I apologize, but of the 100 most viewed TV programs last year, it was something like 85 of them were football, and most of those were the NFL. There was a few college games thrown in there, but it's wild.
Oh, I got to tell you this story real quick. So I was talking to my hairstylist, and there was
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.
It's good. Well played. So a guy had reached out and booked multiple appointments, and one of them was for this coming Sunday at 4 o'clock. Sunday at 4, which would be right after the Super Bowl is kicked off with the Eagles and Chiefs. So my hairstylist thought maybe he had made the appointment in error, right? So she just reached out ahead of time to say, hey, just want to make sure you booked an appointment for 4 o'clock on Sunday during the Super Bowl. Did you really want that appointment? He responded and said, oh, of course, I don't watch American football. And when she told me that, I said, no question, he is a soccer fan. That is soccer snobbery at its finest right there.
I used to play soccer. And what I'm saying is...
Yeah. It's like, really? So you hate American football so much that you're going to get a haircut during the Super Bowl. That's absurd.
That's pretty wild.
It's very snooty, if you ask me. All right. Any final thoughts on tonight? That trade pretty much derailed the entire fifth quarter, I can tell you that much.
No, I'm going to go back and watch the YouTube feed just to watch the look on your face because, like, you gave me this look like, why are you butting in on me, Burkhart? And I'm like, no, there's a reason. There is a reason, Chad.
It was worthy. It was worthy. Wow.
That's wild. I mean, I hope so. I mean, there's got to be a flurry of moves over the next now 12 and a half hours because there's no way that any of these teams that are legit in the race, so the Nuggets, right, the Grizzlies, they can't stand pat.
No. I mean, think about how this changes everything. Like, if you're the Nuggets coming off that game last night where they were dominant in their destruction of Minnesota, and you've got the guy who's probably going to win his third MVP in a row in Jokic. You're finally in a position at the top of the West in a wide-open Western Conference where you have a chance to get to the finals and win a championship. And in one move, I don't think they're the best team in the Western Conference. I was iffy on them prior. And now you look at the Suns, if healthy with the addition of Kevin Durant, good luck trying to beat them. Because here's what it comes down to. Can you beat Kevin Durant, Booker, Paul, and Ayton 4 out of 7 times in a 7-game series?
It's going to be tough to do. It's going to be very, very tough to do.
I mean, that's really what you have to ask yourself. Are we equipped to deal with that team and beat them 4 times in a 7-game series?
Yeah.
And if you don't know the answer to that question, you better get busy before noon tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, even Dallas, I don't think they're the major contender, but when you have 2 all-stars on your team, 2 legit all-world players, that's a tough team to beat, right? So you look at Memphis. Now, Memphis has, Jaren Jackson gets his all-star nod, but seriously, they need another true star alongside Ja Morant. Denver could use another legit scorer on that team and a little bit of defense. You look at the Lakers, right? I mean, they just got exactly what they need. D. Russ gives them a good shooter next to LeBron. Vanderbilt gives them great length, and Malik Beasley, I think, is one of the more underrated players. So, yeah, everyone around you is getting better. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens in the next 12 hours and 31 minutes.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Wow. All right, next Blazers broadcast is going to come up on Friday with the Oklahoma City Thunder in town. 7 o'clock tip from Moto with Game Day. Chris and I will be here starting at 4:30. Tomorrow, join us for a special trade deadline edition of Rip City Mornings with Justin Myers. And the Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad starting at 3 o'clock. All right, that's what we got on tap for tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the night. Get your notifications turned on and get ready for a wild day tomorrow. Your final score from Motor Center tonight, the Trailblazers take out the Golden State Warriors 125-122. For Chris Burkhart, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night.